Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high-performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So this morning, I went for a very, very long bike ride. Long for me. So if you're new to my world, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I love triathlons. I train for way more than I compete because I have 4 children. So the competition for triathlons doesn't always work out in my favor, but I definitely train for them. And I actually did a half Ironman in 2022. I believe, the Blue Ridge half Ironman, which was quite an endeavor because we don't have hills here in Virginia Beach. And if you look up the Blue Ridge Mountains, they are definitely hillier than life here in Virginia Beach. So I say all of this because I had to pep talk myself out of my comfort zone today. I have an audacious goal to really trim down the time for my Olympic triathlon. I'm not going to share it here because I'm just not. I'm not ready to broadcast that out to the world, but it is a very audacious goal. And so when I came up with it, I did some pre-planning. I actually used chatbot GPT or whatever that is, chat GPT, whatever it's called. I don't know. I used the AI to create a training schedule for this goal. And part of it was these longer rides. And I said, okay, well, in order to reach this, I need to be biking much faster. And I thought, well, that might be difficult to do on my own because, let's face it, when you're running or biking or doing something on your own, it's pretty easy to go lax and not push yourself super hard, right? Know that about myself. And so I said, okay, well, I'd love to really find a group of people to ride with. Herein lies the problem. I like to ride during the day. So it would be like after 8 a.m. kind of thing. And I see a lot of cyclists in my area, but they will sometimes ride earlier or they ride sporadic times. I also ride sporadic times. So I was making up these excuses as to why I couldn't find somebody to ride with. And I had done a ride last week and ended up with a flat tire because I was trying to be overly cautious and stick to the bike path, which invariably causes me to get a flat tire because it's just not maintained. It sucks. My bike is really made for being on the road. It's legitimately called a road bike, right? But when you're a solo cyclist, it can feel terrifying to be on a road by yourself because people aren't always the kindest in their vehicles. So I got this flat tire last week and I said, you know what? I really need to find other people to ride with. I need a buddy, somebody else kind of a thing. So I bring my bike over to the bike shop to get the tire fixed because, let's face it, these nails are not going to change flat tire. I have tried it. I have succeeded to about 85% and then just asked for help because I just can't wrangle that tire back onto the rim. So I'm not even attempting this one. So I take it over to the bike shop and I get over to the bike shop and there's this older gentleman. I don't want to call them old, but he's older than me. And he says, hey, do you ride around here much? And I said, no, I'm just coming here to, get my tire fixed. And he starts chit-chatting with me. And then lo and behold, these other cyclists start to enter the parking lot. And he said, well, we ride together every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. He said, it's a longer ride. It's about 32 miles. And you should join us. We're looking for younger people in our crew. We average between 60 and 81. And I was like, oh, okay. So we chit-chatted a little bit more. And that was last Tuesday. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. He said, we meet at 7:30. I said, okay, I got to just coordinate my morning chaos, give my kids a little bit more responsibility, and I'll be there. And this morning, as I was gearing up to go, part of me was totally talking myself out of it. You don't have to go. They're not even going to miss you. They don't even know who you are. You don't have to go. You'll be fine. Go do your 45-minute bike ride by yourself. It'll be fine, right? Legitimately talking myself out of this because it was uncomfortable. I was putting myself in a different situation. And it was a situation that I have never been in before. I've never done a group ride before aside from my competitions. And so it was brand new to me. I didn't know what to expect. I was afraid that I would get lost and left in the dust. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to hold my own. I was afraid that I, get a flat tire. All of these fears were running through my head as to why I shouldn't join this group ride this morning. And I had to coach myself into it. I was like, you know what? It'll be okay. We can do this one, and then if we never do another one, it'll be fine. We at least said that we were going to do one, right? And I really wanted to stick to my word because when I had gotten my tire fixed, the owner of the store had asked, oh, are you going to go ride with them? I'd love to join you all when you go and see you, gas those old guys. And I said, well, I'm going to try to do Thursday of last week, which was just not feasible. I said, but if I don't do Thursday, I'm definitely going to do Tuesday. And so I wanted to be a person of integrity. And whether this guy showed up or not, I told myself that I was going to show up because I told people that I was going to go do this ride. So I show up, and super friendly group of people, first off. And they are very punctual. They roll out at 7:30, whether you are ready or not. So I absolutely appreciated that, right? And one of the guys took me aside and said, hey, have you ever, group paced before? And I said, no, this is the first time I've ever actually ridden with people. So he kind of gave me the lay of the land and, told me some important hand signals and what to watch for and how to keep distance and all that stuff. And it was a really great ride. I typically will ride 10 to 20 miles by myself. So at the halfway point, which was 16 miles, they all looked at me and they're like, are you going to make it back? And I said, yeah, this is usually about where I'm done for the day. I said, but I can do a longer ride. I'll be fine. I'll just go a little bit slower on the way back. And so I actually ended up being the pacer for the first couple of miles on the way back, which was really nice. But I say all of these things, and I tell you this story. I share this story with you because you've got to do the uncomfortable thing, especially if you want to achieve something that you haven't done before. So I have this audacious time goal for my next triathlon. And in order to do that, I have to shave a whole lot of time off of my cycling portion of that triathlon. And in order to do that, I have to do something I haven't done before, which is ride with people that are a whole lot faster than me. Okay, so I kept pace with them until about mile 14, and then the two leading guys just kind of pulled away from me a bit. Mile 16, we stopped, we regrouped. I did have eyes on them all the time, but I was able to maintain with them on the way back. So the remaining 16 miles, I was with them the whole time. I don't know if they intentionally slowed down or what, right? I don't know if they were worried about me not making it back. I have no idea. But nevertheless, I was able to maintain with them on the way back. And I was really proud of myself because, one, super uncomfortable situation because I didn't know what to expect. And I was really trying to talk myself out of it this morning. And two, because I typically don't do long rides like that, right? That 32 miles is a good amount, especially if you're just training for an Olympic triathlon. So an Olympic triathlon, the bike portion is, I believe, a 40K, which is not 32 miles. It works out to be about 24 miles, give or take, is what the Olympic is. So I surpassed that in this ride today. Now, will I go back? Yeah, Absolutely. I'm going to make it a priority to ride with people that are faster than me once a week, right? So Tuesday works better for me right now. And that will be something that I maintain as long as I can, because I enjoyed it. I'm also now part of their like text chat, so I'll know when they're going to do longer rides. I'll try to hop in on a Saturday if I can, but like I knew for me that I could commit to Tuesday. That would work for me. Now, there could be the overdoing it person, which I've been there before, worn that hat before, where I can be like, oh yeah, I'll be there Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And then come Thursday, when I don't feel like it, I'm going to feel really guilty and probably beat myself up for it. So because I know myself enough, I also know my boundaries of commitment. So I can say, you know what? 1 week right now, maybe in a couple of weeks, I can do twice a week. Maybe eventually I could do 3 times a week, but probably not, right? Just in my mind with my own schedules and my own other commitments. But I can commit to once a week. And I can do my other ride by myself because I'm just riding twice a week right now, right? But I was very honest about it with myself. I checked in before I said anything to anybody else. Hey, what can I honestly commit to? Yeah, I could probably commit to Thursday. But that also feels a bit too much for me right now. So I can commit to Tuesday. So Tuesdays are my ride days, my long ride days. And I'm excited about the next time, right? I learned a bunch this time. I learned all the signals and all the things to say and how to keep a safe distance and all that stuff. I will learn their names eventually. I was bombarded with lots of names today, so I will learn their names eventually. But it was overall a great experience, and I really am so glad that I did it and didn't talk myself out of it, because I could have totally talked myself out of it, especially this morning helping the kids get out the door for school, right? Like I could have absolutely used them as an excuse to not go. And no one would have been wiser except me. But because I trust myself and because I have integrity, I'm going to do the thing that I say I'm going to do. It has taken me time to get here and to be able to say that, honestly, 1,000%, right? Because sometimes we overcommit ourselves and we say something that we don't actually want to do. We commit ourselves to something that we really don't want to do. And that's where people start to fall into trouble, because you've overcommitted yourself and then you're stressed out, burnt out, and you don't know which way is up, and you've stopped listening to yourself. And that is probably the most damaging, because you haven't given yourself time to check in and say, you know what, I actually don't want to do that. And be okay with saying no, right? I could have easily been like, oh yeah, I'll see you all on Thursday and Saturday. It's going to be a great week, right? And I would have gotten home and been like, I don't even know how I'm going to maintain that, right? So when you are doing something new, you are trying something new, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to be annoying. Your mind is going to want to talk you out of it. For sure. But if you can push through that uncomfortable feeling, that annoyance, and look at it just a little bit differently, then you can actually create really great experiences by doing something new, because it's that new thing that's actually going to help you create the change. This is what I work on with my clients a lot. We get out of that stuck rut where you're just going through the motions, you're doing the same thing. The same thing is not going to create the results that you haven't achieved yet. The same thing is going to create the same results that you have. I want different results for my next triathlon, so I got to do something different. That means training with people that are faster than me. So, I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. And if you have any other questions, you're interested in working with me, I am taking on private clients right now. You can reach out to me at my Instagram on stephaniesnyderphd, Ph.D. Instagram, or you could go over to my website, stephaniesnyderphd.com, and get all my information there. I would love if you would like, subscribe, comment to these videos on YouTube as well as onto the podcast. So the podcast episodes are recorded and you can check them out on YouTube as well. I am going to start to create new content for each of those different spaces as well, but right now they're one and the same. But if you prefer YouTube, that's where you'll find me. And then over on Instagram, Stephanie Snyder, PhD, and then the podcast, of course. So I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye, love.